Get ready, because those state quarters you've been tossing around might be hiding unbelievable value. Today, we're exploring the most rare and valuable state quarters that can turn ordinary change into hundreds, thousands, or even life-changing amounts of money. These coins may look common, worn, or forgotten, but some carry mint errors and rare variations so scarce that collectors pay astronomical prices to own them. Imagine pulling a quarter out of your pocket. 25-cent coin might actually be one of the most valuable state quarters ever released in 1999. Connecticut quarter, you barely notice it at first. But then, something catches your eye. A strange shape. A doubled tree branch. A missing detail. A distorted rim. A rotation that seems impossible. And suddenly, your heart races. With rare mint errors worth hundreds, thousands, and in ultra-scarce cases, collectors paying massive premiums at auction. This is no ordinary quarter. This is the last and most detailed design of the first year in the legendary 50 State Quarters program, a program that changed American coin collecting forever. And the Connecticut design, featuring the intricate, sprawling charter oak, created a perfect storm for major mint errors, extreme doubling, dramatic misstrikes, missing elements, and wrong planchet rarities. History of the 1999 Connecticut quarter. The Connecticut State Quarter, released in 1999, was the fifth and final coin of the first year of the State Quarters series. It was one of the most anticipated designs because it features the legendary charter oak, a massive historic tree. Believed to have hidden the Connecticut Royal Charter in 1687 to protect it from British seizure. As a result, error coins exploded into circulation, and some are now among the most famous of the entire 50-state collection. Top rarest 1999 Connecticut quarter errors, double die errors, major dramatic double dies certified by PCGS/NGC, $1,000 to $3,000 plus, OFF center strike errors. These are some of the most visually dramatic 1999 Connecticut errors. 70, 80% off center, $2,000 to $4,000 plus. Broad strike errors. A broad strike happens when the collar fails and the coin expands outwards. Dramatic broad strike with visible expansion. $250 to $5,600. Wrong planchet errors. A Connecticut quarter struck on the wrong planchet is one of the highest value errors you can find. Off-metal experimental errors. $5,000 to $10,000 plus. Clipped planchet errors. These occur when the metal strip is misfed into the blanking press. Double or triple clips. $300 to $900. Struck through errors. These errors occur when something is between the die and the planchet during striking. Unique form material struck through. $200 to $1,000 plus. Die cracks, chips, and cut errors. The extremely detailed tree branches cause dies to break easily. Full cut. $300 to $800. Rotated die errors. When the obverse and reverse designs are no longer aligned at 180 degrees. Collectors go crazy. 180 degree rotation. $2,000 to $6,000 plus. Missing clad layer errors. These errors expose the copper core underneath the nickel layer. Both sides missing. Clad, rare, $1,000 to $3,500 plus. How viewers can identify valuable 1999 CT errors. Check for doubling on the branches. Look for shadow-like second lines. Examine the rim and edges, cracks, cuts, chips. Check alignment. Rotate the coin to see if the designs match at 180 degree. Check weight. Quarter should weigh 5.67 g. Wrong planchet errors weigh much more or less. The 1999 Connecticut State Quarter is one of the most collectible and error-prone coins of the modern era. Its incredible charter oak design created conditions for some of the most dramatic and valuable errors in the State Quarters program, including double dies, off-center strikes, missing clad layers, wrong planchet errors, rotated dies, broad strikes, and more. Imagine holding a simple state quarter in your hand, dusty, old, maybe even stained with years of circulation, and discovering that this ordinary-looking 1999 Georgia State Quarter could actually be worth hundreds, thousands, or in the most unbelievable cases. But hidden inside America's first year of state quarter production lies one of the most thrilling modern coin mysteries, the rare 1999 Georgia Error Quarter, a coin responsible for some of the most shocking auction surprises of the entire series. The history of the 1999 Georgia State Quarter. 1999 was a transformational year for United States coinage. It marked the beginning of the legendary 50 State Quarters program, one of the most popular and most widely collected coin series in modern American history. With enormous pressure on the mint to produce hundreds of millions of coins quickly, mistakes were guaranteed, and 1999 ended up having some of the worst minting problems of the entire State Quarter series. The U.S. Mint was experimenting in the late 1990s with different plating techniques and metals for better durability. A limited number of Georgia quarters, believed to be struck in Denver, were mistakenly minted using experimental planchets, likely intended for test purposes, the rare errors that make 1999 Georgia quarters extremely valuable. Experimental planchet error. A verified specimen once sold for over $10,000, and collectors believe if anew. Some extreme coins that show unmatched experimental traits could attract million-dollar offers. Off-metal errors, $5,000 to $25,000 depending on the metal and weight. Extremely rare ones could reach six figures at auction. Major double die errors, $2,000 to $10,000 in high grade. DDOs and DDRs are among the easiest errors for beginners to find. Broad strikes, off-center strikes, and die caps. These visual errors are dramatic and easy to spot. $2,000 to $7,000 for major off-centers. Clip planchets. A clipped planchet occurs when the metal strip doesn't punch correctly. $500 to $1,500 for large clips. How to identify a rare and valuable 1999 Georgia error quarter weight test. Normal quarter weight, 5.67 grams. Experimental or foreign planchets often weigh. Color and surface. Look for yellowish tone, dull metallic texture, grainy surface, strange edge. Color darker or lighter than normal. These are nearly always caused by experimental metals. Edge reading. Experimental planchets often show very shallow reads. If the edge looks wrong, check it. Off-center strikes. If the design is shifted noticeably, even 5 to 10% off-center, this can be worth hundreds or thousands. Well, the truth is 1999 was one of the most chaotic minting years in U.S. history, with experimental planchets, striking mistakes, double dies, broad strikes, off-center errors, and the legendary error known as the spitting horse. Imagine opening an old coffee jar, a drawer, or a dusty box filled with coins you haven't touched in years. You dig through them casually, flipping quarter after quarter, nothing special, until suddenly, you notice a 1999 Delaware State Quarter, old, dirty, worn, maybe even stained by decades of circulation. History of the 1999 Delaware State Quarter. 1999 marked the beginning of the famous 50 State Quarters program, one of the most successful coin series in U.S. history. The very first release was the Delaware State Quarter, featuring American patriot Caesar Rodney riding his horse on a heroic journey in 1776. The Philadelphia Mint, Mint mark, alone produced 373 million coins, and with that crazy production scale, 1999 became one of the worst error-heavy years of the entire series. The most valuable, 1999 Delaware errors. The double die obverse, double die reverse. These are among the most visually impressive and most valuable errors. High grade, $2,000 to $10,000. Off-metal errors, depending on the metal, weight, and quality. $5,000 to $25,000 plus. A perfect off-metal Delaware quarter could theoretically reach six figures. Experimental planchet errors. Certified examples have already sold for $5,000 to $15,000. This is why collectors obsess over old, dirty Delaware quarters. To off-center strike errors. Some Delaware quarters were struck off-center, especially in early 1999. Major, 50% plus off, $2,000 to $5,000. Broad strike errors. A broad strike happens when the collar fails, causing the coin to spread outwards. Perfect broad strikes, $1,000 to $2,500. Clip planchets. These occur when the metal strip misfeeds. Double clip, $500 to $1,500. How to identify the most valuable 1999 Delaware errors. Weight test. Normal quarter weight, 5.67 g. Weights range from 4.8 g to 6.3 g. Color test. These hint at experimental planchets. Edge read check. This indicates off-metal or planchet mistakes. Look for this spitting horse crack, a die crack extending forward from the horse's mouth. The thicker the crack, the higher the value. Doubling on letters and date. Use a magnifier or HD phone camera. Check for off-center strikes. Even 5% off equals collectible. Broad or distorted shape. Flattened edges indicate broad strikes. The 2000 P South Carolina quarter has some of the most shocking, valuable, and still undiscovered rare errors from the entire early state quarter era. And today, I'm going to show you exactly which ones can transform an old, dirty, pocket-worn coin into a life-changing jackpot. Picture this. You reach into an old box in your closet, a dusty jar in the kitchen, or a forgotten drawer full of pocket change collected over the years. You're half asleep, half distracted, casually flipping through coins. Quarter after quarter, nothing special. Dirty, old, brownish, worn-down coins that look like they've been through decades of vending machines. History of the 2000 P South Carolina State Quarter, but 2000 was a chaotic year for the mint. Production numbers were extremely high, and the quality control systems were heavily strained. With massive minting speed came massive mistakes. The Philadelphia Mint in 2000 produced more errors than almost any other year of the State Quarters program, particularly on the South Carolina quarter. One of these errors sold for over $18,000. Another nearly $30,000, and experts believe the highest-grade rare errors could one day hit six figures or even million-dollar status, the top 10 most valuable. 2000 P South Carolina Error Quarters, off-metal error. This is the king of all state quarter errors. Rare planchets. $10,000 to $30,000 plus. Missing clad layer errors. These look dramatic. Half silver-colored copper core showing, or full copper exposed on one side. High grade. $2,500 to $5,000. Off-center strike errors. These are highly collectible and visually striking. 40-60% off-center with date. $1,000 to $3,000. Broad strike errors. Beautiful wide, stretched out coins. Perfect broad strike. $500 to $1,200. Double struck or triple struck error. These look insane. Overlapping images, shifted designs, and ghost shapes. Major off-center double strike. $2,000 to $7,500. Strong double die errors. Strong double die. $1,500 to $5,000. Die break errors. Large cuts. $500 to $1,800. Rotated die error. When the reverse and obverse are misaligned. Dramatic rotation. $1,000 to $4,000. Double rim error. Looks like two rims stacked. Sharp double rim. $150 to $300. The blurry strike. Weak strike error. Weak. Details from clogged dies or grease. Full weak strike error on both sides. $300 to $800. How to identify a valuable 2000 P South Carolina error. Check the weight. Normal weight. 5.67 Gurr weights. Too light. Missing clad 4.8 to 5.4 G. Too heavy. Wrong planchet 6.0 plus G. Examine the edge. Error indicators. Copper showing. Missing clad layer. Look at the reverse. If anything looks doubled, cracked, shifted, or distorted, it may be rare. Tilt the coin for doubling. Light reflections show. Shadow. Letters doubling on design elements. Thickened edges. Inspect the rim. A double rim or off-center rim is a major clue. Check for color changes, chemical variations. Wrong metal. Welcome to the world of the 2000 P Virginia Error State Quarter, one of the most exciting and valuable modern error coins circulating today. Some of these quarters have sold for enormous profits because of dramatic minting mistakes. A few extremely rare multi-error pieces and off-metal planchet errors in the State Quarter series have even crossed into six-figure, and expert collectors believe certain ultra-rare combinations could reach million-dollar territory if the right example ever appears. Imagine this. You're sorting through some spare change, maybe from a drawer, a car cup holder, or even an old piggy bank. You pull out a quarter, dirty, worn, nothing special, until you look a little closer. Something is off. The rim looks strange. The design seems shifted. Washington's head looks doubled. The reverse image of the three ships, Susan Constant, Godspeed, and Discovery, seems distorted or misstruck. Suddenly your heart starts pounding. The Virginia State Quarter was released in October 2000 as part of the Statehood Quarter program. Its design commemorates the founding of Jamestown in 1607, the first permanent English settlement in America. Why 2000? Virginia quarters have so many valuable errors, massive production numbers. Higher production equals more mechanical stress equals more errors. Aging minting equipment, dies wore out faster, producing doubled dies, die cracks, and weak strikes. Mixed planchet errors, wrong metal planchets occasionally slipped into machines producing the state quarters. Top most valuable 2000 Virginia error quarters, OFF center strike errors, 50% plus off center with date visible $2,000 to 4,500 plus. If the date remains readable and the ship designs are visibly distorted, collectors go crazy for these. Broad strike errors. These errors occur when the collar fails to hold the coin during striking. Uncirculated, $350 to $600. Double strike and multi-strike errors. These are spectacular, especially on a design as detailed as the Virginia ships. Dramatic partial second strike, $4,000 to N6,000. Die cracks, die breaks, and CUDS. Die cracks are extremely common in 2000 quarters. Large cuds near the rim, $800 to $2,500. Clip planchet errors. Curved clips are worth more than straight clips. Large dramatic. Clip $700 to $850. Missing clad layer. Quarters are normally made of a copper core with nickel-clad outer layers. Both sides missing $2,000 to $3,800 plus. Wrong planchet / OFF metal errors. These are among the most valuable modern U.S. mint errors that on steel or exotic metal $30,000 to $70,000 plus. Collectors pay insane premiums for these. Multiple errors on one coin. Certain state quarter multi-error coins from 1999 to 2000 have sold over $80,000, and experts believe a dramatic Virginia example could break the $100,000 to £2,000 range at a major auction. Struck through grease / foreign objects. These errors occur when something gets stuck between the die and the coin. Heavy ghost-like. Missing ships $600 to $500. Detailed identification guide. Check if your coin is valuable. Does the coin look oddly shaped or stretched? Broad strike. Is part of the design missing or shadowed? Struck through grease or double strike? Does the rim disappear or look distorted? Collar error. Does the design repeat? Double strike or rotated strike? Does the coin look copper-colored, missing clad, or wrong planchet? Is it extremely lightweight or heavy? Off-metal planchet. Is a piece missing from the edge? Clipped planchet. Do you see cracks or raised bumps? Die crack or cud? Is the design struck off to one side? Any of these could be worth money. Welcome to the thrilling world of the 2000 Massachusetts Error State Quarter, a coin that ordinary people have found in pocket change and later discovered to be rare minting mistakes worth small fortunes. Some of these errors are so dramatic, so bizarre, and so visually shocking that collectors are willing to pay anything to own them. In rare cases, extraordinary state quarter mint errors have crossed 5-figure and even 6-figure auction levels, turning a dirty, old pocket coin into life-changing money. Imagine digging through an old jar of change, a dusty drawer, or a forgotten box in the attic, and suddenly spotting a quarter that looks a little off. Maybe the rim seems thicker, maybe the design appears doubled, maybe the strike looks weak, or maybe the coin simply looks old, dirty, and strangely different from every other quarter you've ever seen. What if I told you that this odd 25-cent coin could secretly be worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars? The Massachusetts State Quarter was released on January 3, 2000, becoming the first statehood quarter issued in the new millennium. It features the Minuteman statue from Concord, an outline of the state, the motto, the Bay State. Over 620 million quarters were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, marked by the letter P, meaning the coin itself is common, but the errors are anything but common. These mistakes created some of the most collectible modern errors in the entire state quarter series. That the most valuable 2000 Massachusetts State Quarter errors, OFF center strike errors. Off-center errors happen when the planchet fails to sit correctly between the dies during striking. 50% plus off-center with full date, showing $1,000 to $53,000 plus, Broad strike errors. A dirty, circulated broad strike Massachusetts quarter still sells for $50 to $150, while a clean uncirculated example can reach $300 to $500. Double strike errors. These are some of the most dramatic and valuable error coins. Major partial second strike $1,000 to $3,000. Die crack, die break, and cut errors. Large die breaks $500 to $1. 500. Collectors love cuds because each one is unique. Clipped planchet errors. A 2000 P Massachusetts clipped planchet quarter has sold for over $650. Depending on size and condition. Wrong planchet / OFF metal errors. These are the most valuable errors on any modern coin. On a foreign planchet $15,000 to $25,000 plus. Missing clad layer errors. Modern quarters have a copper core with a nickel clad outside. Missing clad layer on both sides $2,000 to $3,500 plus. How to identify if your 2000 P Massachusetts quarter is valuable. Does the coin look oddly shaped, possible broad strike, or off center? Does the rim look missing or expanded, broad strike, or color error? Does the design appear doubled or shadowed, double strike? Is the coin copper colored, missing clad layer, or wrong planchet? Are there cracks, raised bumps, or missing pieces of design, die crack, or CUD to DOUC the date? If yes, value increases, especially for off-center errors. Does the coin feel lighter or heavier than normal? Potential off-metal planchet. This is why so many collectors search every day, hoping to find that one rare treasure hiding in pocket change. And the 2000 P Massachusetts quarter is one of the top error-producing coins of the entire state quarter series. Today, we dive into the 2001 D New York Error State Quarter, a coin born in the chaos of high-speed minting, carrying mistakes that slipped past quality control and entered everyday circulation. Imagine holding a coin so rare, so unbelievably mysterious, that even veteran collectors freeze the moment they see it, because they know it might be one of the ghost coins of the State Quarter series. A coin struck with errors so dramatic that they should have never escaped the U.S. Mint. A coin that collectors claim could skyrocket from a few cents in pocket change to hundreds, thousands, or in extreme verified cases, even hundreds of thousands, and theoretically millions if the error reaches one-of-one historic anomaly status. The birth of the 2001 D New York State Quarter, a coin with a story. The year 2001 marked the release of the 11th State Quarter, celebrating the state of New York. Featuring the Statue of Liberty, the state outline, and the famous Gateway to Freedom theme, the quarter quickly became one of the most recognizable designs in the 50 State Quarters program. The Denver Mint, DeMint mark, was responsible for producing hundreds of millions of these coins. But high-volume production always increases the chances of dramatic mint errors, and the 2001 D issues became one of the most error-rich releases of the entire series. The most rare 2001 D New York error types and their values. Massive off-center strike. These are dramatic, visually shocking, and extremely collectible. Large off-center, $2,000 to $4,500. Broad strike with full rim expansion. This error gives the quarter a stretched, pancake-like look. $200 to $1,500 depending on clarity. Double strike / multiple strike error. The most dramatic specimens can go $40,000 plus. Die clash, Ghost Virginia error. If a die previously used for Virginia quarters clashed with a New York quarter die, faint outlines can appear. $10,000 to $25,000 if slabbed and dramatic. Wrong planchet / off metal strike. Ultra rare and the highest value category. $10,000 to $75,000. Double denomination error. A coin struck twice. Once as a dime, once as a quarter. $250,000 to $500,000. And if photographed, verified, and historically unique. Why some errors can reach millions, $1 to $3 million range. This is why collectors check every damaged, dirty, or strange state quarter they find. How to identify rare 2001 D errors in your pocket change. Off-center designs. Is the rim missing? Is the Statue of Liberty shifted? Thick, wide, or missing rims, broad strike or collar issues. Shadowy or ghost shapes, possible die clashes. Weird metal color or weight, potential off-metal strike. Double letters or double outlines, Double strike errors. The 2001 New York Error State Quarter is one of the hidden giants of the State Quarter series. While millions of normal coins exist, only a tiny number of dramatic mint mistakes slip through. Coins so rare and visually shocking that they command life-changing value. Tonight, we explore the rarest 2002 Ohio State Quarter errors, including the legendary strike clash varieties that shouldn't exist, yet somehow escape the mint. You're holding an ordinary Ohio quarter, or at least you think you are. But as you tilt it under the light, strange shadows appear. Lines that shouldn't be there. Shapes that look like they belong to another state. Almost as if the Ohio quarter merged with the Virginia design in some kind of mint-level collision. And suddenly, your heart races, because you realize this might be one of the most mysterious, most valuable, and most impossible error quarters ever produced at the Denver Mint. The kind of coin that collectors fight for, but the Denver Mint, responsible for striking hundreds of millions of these coins, was overwhelmed. Production was rushed. Demand was massive. Dies were out faster. Machines operated at maximum speed. Sometimes, during high-speed minting, dies strike each other with no coin between them. This transfers faint outlines of one die onto another. Why the 2002 Ohio error quarters can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions. Rarity. If only a few pieces escape the mint, value rises dramatically. Unique errors can reach extreme numbers. Severity. A tiny clash may be worth $50 that a dramatic two-state-in-one coin look is worth thousands. Eye appeal. Collectors love wild, shocking errors that look like mistakes from another universe. The grade and condition. An MS65 or MS66 dramatic error can be 10 times more valuable than the same error in circulated condition. The rarest 2002 Ohio error types and their market values. Ghost Virginia, die clash error. A perfect MS66 plus example could break $50,000 to $100,000, massive off-center strike. These are visually dramatic. The more off-center and still showing the date, the higher the value. A one-of-one perfect off-center. $20,000 to $40,000, broad strike error. The rim expands, giving the coin a pancake look. $150 to $1,000 depending on condition. Wrong planchet / off metal strike, unique metal planchet error. Right arrow $100,000 plus, double denomination error. This happens when a coin is struck on top of a previous denomination, like typical double denomination, $25,000 to $75,000. It is a window into the chaos and imperfections of the U.S. Mint. It is a reminder that even in a world run by machines, accidents happen. Accidents that transform ordinary change into treasure. And somewhere out there, hidden in jars, dressers, pockets, collections, and boxes, is a coin nobody has discovered yet.